I had zero confidence. I had zero self-love, hated the reflection in the mirror. Everything that there is to do with health and fitness, like, was not me. You would have never, ever thought or saw me in a gym. But yeah, there I was sitting, feeling pretty sorry for myself. And I looked over at a picture of my mom, Jennifer, and for the first time in my entire life, I didn't see the hustler. I didn't see the mom who raised 4 kids, the entrepreneur. I didn't see this strong mom that I put on such a high pillar. And instead, I saw 320 pounds. I saw cancer. I saw diabetes. I saw zero energy and stress galore. And I saw myself in her. Like, I really did see the future version of me. And sitting on that couch, the worst thing that I started to imagine was, I was like, wow, if the doctor's right, my 15-year-old daughter would be burying me. And I just can't imagine that.
Welcome to the show, Karissa. I'm so pumped to chat with you today. I would love if you could introduce yourself to our audience, because I personally feel the best introductions come from the person themselves. So go for it, girl.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited for this interview and this podcast. So thank you so much. So my name is Karissa Adkins, and I am a weight loss expert and the queen of habit change. I have a coaching company. We are a global coaching company helping purpose-driven women boss up, get strong and healthy, and stay fit forever. I work with them consciously, subconsciously, and strategically. I think that is kind of one of those things that sets me apart. Besides following my passion as a coach, I am an award-winning international speaker. I'm the voice behind Boss Up Babes podcast show, the TV personality on Living Real TV show. But at the end of the day, Jennifer, I'm just like everyone else, right? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and I have 2, best-selling international books. But I'm on a mission to help women boss up and get fit, and that is what I'm really, really passionate about. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Yeah, I love that. Can you please let everybody know the names of your books? And we'll also include it in the show notes below, just so if anybody wants to get them, they can right away.
Yeah. So they're both 2 collaborative books. The very first book was in 2019. It's called Women Who Boss Up. So I'm definitely part of the Women Who Boss Up movement. I am in book number 1. So excited. So that's Women Who Boss Up. You can buy, the book on Amazon. You can go to my website, you can get signed copies, etc. that way. Awesome. The second book is called Expert Profiles. I was interviewed with 10 other amazing entrepreneurs in all kinds of, all different realms of expertise. And that too, you can buy on my website or on Amazon, but they're both international best-selling author books.
Amazing. And I'll have those links for anybody that wants to go check them out. Let's go back in your journey a little bit. How did you find fitness, and how did it become such a strong part of your life?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I love this story because it saved my life, right? Fitness and the gym and, just hitting rock bottom saved my life. So 12 years ago in 2011, hard to believe that already, but 12 years ago, I had a rock bottom moment, like the kind that either takes your life or changes it forever.
Wow.
And I was stationed in Germany with my family. My husband's active duty. We were over there. Of course, he was deployed, because anytime something major happens in a military family, your man is deployed. Right when you need them the most, they're like, oh, just kidding. You're going to do it all by yourself. But so he was deployed. I was exhausted, and I was running late to a doctor's appointment. So I was running late to this appointment. I have 2 kids. My son was in school. My daughter, she was 2 years old at the time. She comes, they go with us everywhere at that age.
I know it.
Yeah, literally they're attached at our hips. And, I was sitting there in the doctor's office and she got real serious with me and she gave me some honest truth, like the kind of truth that slaps you across the face and you're like not ready for it. She said, Karissa, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're 5 foot tall, you're 213 pounds, and you are considered obese. And I was like, obese? Like, did you just call me the O word? I was like, I'm not obese. Like, and I immediately went into defense mode. I was like sucking those tears back so that I didn't show emotion, because at the time, like that was something weak women did. So I shoved those emotions down, and then she could see that, right? And I'm Puerto Rican. So at first I got angry and I was like, how dare you like tell me that who are you to tell me? And she said, Karissa, if you don't change your lifestyle habits today, you might not be around for that little girl playing there. And that was like the punch straight to the gut. Like that was the, oh crap moment that I was like, how dare you? Right. And I was mad and I was upset and I literally scooped up my daughter like a football and I like grabbed my diaper bag, slung it over my head, my shoulder, and I stormed out of there. I didn't want to feel any more hurt. I didn't want to feel that anymore. And so like anything, I drove home. I had one of those entire yelling match conversations with me, myself, and I. And I got home. I smoked a pack of cigarettes that night, drank 2 bottles of wine. And I remember crying myself to sleep. And right before I fell asleep, I was praying to God. And I said, God, please take this pain away. Like, I don't want to feel like this tomorrow. And it wasn't until the next day, though, that the reality really hit and really set in. And I was sitting on the couch and, a picture of my mom had been sitting on the end table for at least 1.5 years at this house. And I looked over at this picture, a cup of coffee in hand, feeling pretty miserable, feeling pretty like defeated and feeling sad. And I was already depressed and on depression medication, because I was just not happy with my life and my body. I had zero confidence. I had zero self-love, hated the reflection in the mirror. Everything that there is to do with health and fitness, like, was not me. You would have never, ever thought or saw me in a gym. But yeah, there I was sitting, feeling pretty sorry for myself. And I looked over at a picture of my mom, Jennifer, and for the first time in my entire life, I didn't see the hustler. I didn't see the mom who raised 4 kids, the entrepreneur. I didn't see this strong mom that I put on such a high pillar. And instead, I saw 320 pounds. I saw cancer. I saw diabetes. I saw zero energy and stress galore. And I saw myself in her. Like, I really did see the future version of me. And sitting on that couch, the worst thing that I started to imagine was, I was like, wow, if the doctor's right, my 15-year-old daughter would be burying me. And I just can't imagine that. And that was the ultimate rock bottom, where I was like, okay, I sucked all those tears back. I made it, and I can tell you some things that I did, to get everything going. But yeah, at the end of the day, I was like, Karissa, you want to feel sexy and you want to feel confident and you want to find health and you weren't always like this. So what do you need to do? And I said, enough was enough. And I was like, you're going to get up and you're going to stop making excuses and you're going to take ownership of your life, because no one else is going to do it for you. And that was the day that truly changed my life forever.
Wow. What a story. And I'm such a believer. This is why I created this podcast, actually, is that your biggest struggles turn into your biggest strength. And you're walking proof of that. Now you're helping women do the same thing. Now, how did you start? Like, you were sitting there, you were overweight. You obviously didn't really step foot into a gym, that just wasn't your lifestyle. How did you just start? Like, what was the first step that you made?
Well, I got a piece of paper and a pen, and I just started writing down all the shoulds, right? We should all over ourselves every single day.
All day long.
I should get more sleep. I should, take care of myself. I should eat less. I should eat clean. I should work out. And I came up with probably a list of 25. And I was like, whoa. I can't do all of this. And I just remember thinking, Karissa, just pick 2, right? Just pick 2 that you think you can do and you can do consistently. And so the two that I chose, I was like, you're going to get up and you're going to move your body every single day.
Mm-hmm.
The second habit that I chose was, at the time I was a binge eater and I ate every emotion possible. And so I said, instead of, I didn't even know what clean eating was at the time. Like, are you kidding me? Like this is before MySpace, y'all. So like, go back, like, like we didn't have anything. Like,
basically before the internet.
yeah, before like you could Google anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sat there and I was like, I don't even know what like the right diet would be or the right program. I just know I should not be eating 3 plates of food every single time I'm sitting down to eat. So those are the 2 habits that I worked on continuously, right? Move my body every day and eat less. And through that journey, obviously thousands, now I'm the queen of habit change. Anything I don't like about my life, I'm like, oh, I can change that. But those were the 2 that I started with. And it was all cardio at that time.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get into the cardio and the weights a little bit later, but I love how you said you wrote it down. And I think that's like a common, just such a simple thing that people don't do enough of. Now, do you get your clients to do that too? Like, do you always write your things down and manifest? Yes. And make lists? Okay. Yes. And is it just a simple piece of paper and pen? Do you have a journal? How do you do this? Give us some tips here.
Office junkie. Okay. Little disclaimer. I am a notebook junkie. Like, I don't want to do stuff online because I lose it. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So personally, to go back to the original question, do I get my clients to write stuff down? Absolutely. I'm a big believer in pen to paper, make it a little bit, there's more oomph in there. It's like more meaty this way versus like, putting a note here and a note there. But I also, encourage them, we anchor in their MOFAs and their ideas and their goals. And I get them to write them down, whether it's on the bathroom mirror or, Post-its that said, you're freaking amazing. Don't ever let anyone, like make you like lower your light. So I'm a huge believer in that. So personally, to the right of me in my office, I have a giant wall. It's full of whiteboard. And that's how I keep my stuff together and organized business wise. Beside that is, my vision board that has things that I've written down and collected. But at the end of the day, I'm an old fashioned girl and I have like notebooks galore, right? And my notebooks all have motivational stuff in it, like my fitness journals. Everything is written down, from my fitness journal to my food journal to, like my ahas, my celebrations and wins. So like what I call my brags every day that I do. And so that just keeps me in like a gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, and it keeps me focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a huge believer. Like, I don't want Slack and I don't want all the apps like that are all over the place. And I've tried them. Trust me. I'm like, oh, I want to be better at saving paper. And I always come back to the good old pen and my favorite, pens. Like if I go to a conference, it's not with my notes and my phone. It's like, I'm taking my pink pen, my purple pen, my favorite notebook. Like I set myself up for success with writing everything down. 100%.
And it's so easy to do, like not easy to do. I mean, but you have to get in that mindset, but everybody has a pen and everybody has a piece of paper. It's just getting into that habit, like you were saying, and it also helps you just get like a brain dump, get everything out on the paper, and then you can cross it off. Just like how you started your journey, you wrote everything down, what you think you needed to do, but really you only needed to do those top 2 things just to get started. You don't have to overcomplicate things. And I'm sure this is what you do with your clients when they start with you, you can talk more on that. Like, how do you start with somebody?
Yeah.
Like, do you start with habits first, or do you just do you create a program right away and they're off to the races? How will you typically approach a client starting with you?
Yeah. So everything is based on habits. And as a coach, I really crafted my system. It's not just like showing up for a coaching call. It's not me showing up to the gym anymore with them. Like, it's not about that. For me, it's about sustainability, which all comes in daily habits and your routines. So we tackle one habit at a time. And I first tackle although the clients want their meal plans and they want their workout plans, I'm like, no, 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 no. Because that's what sets me apart is we are going to work on your mindset first. We are diving in and creating motivation that's going to last. And because it's not always going to, you're not always going to show up feeling excited. So we first dive into the mindset side. We get to I understand why they aren't showing up for themselves, because we show up when we're excited, but how have I been able to keep 100 pounds of fat off my body? That's what every woman wants. And so we start off with building healthy habits around our thoughts, our thinking patterns, like our limiting beliefs. So we really work on the mindset first. And then I go into nutrition, because I believe that that nutrition is about 60% of my clients' success rates is by understanding who they are being, their relationship to food. So we tackle food first. And, that's how I relate to them. Then comes fitness, then comes stress, then comes self-care. Obviously, I have a whole system I walk them through all the way down to gut health, because, motivation and mindset and productivity and all those great things, it has a lot to do with our health, our gut health and our digestion and how we're showing up every day as well. So I walk them through a full nine project, like a proven system, 9 modules, but it's all habits, right? It's what's that? How you showing up every day in the mirror saying you're ugly, you're not worth it, you're fat, you're never going to find love, you're broke. These are all habits that you've been conditioned to just think for so long. You've got to change that first.
I love that. And most people that want to join a program, they have that motivation, right? Initially. And that's why they reached out to you. And I love that you're focusing more on mindset first, because you're showing them not to rely on that motivation, because it's gonna be up and down their entire journey, right? But if they can fix it with habits, that's going to get them through.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love getting up at 3:45 every day, but I'm conditioned. You know what I mean? Like I have discipline now through my habits. My success is built on the habits. And I don't even let my ladies go to the next module until they have really, like they feel good with the habit of mindset and then the habit of nutrition. And so I'm like, nope. Okay. Now you get access to the exercise. Now I'm going to start writing you workouts. Like if you want to go to the gym, I'm not stopping you, but I'm working on one thing at a time, because that's what I need. Less is more.
Love it. I use less is more all the time, girl. What are the most common mistakes that you see women make when they decide they want to be fit, when they decide they want to start a program?
2 really come to mind. First is they're all wishy-washy about their goals. It's the very first thing that I ask on my Get Fit Clarity calls is like, what do you want? What do you want your health to look like? And they're, they get like, well, and they start to go into the struggles and what they've tried in the past and all the time. I'm like, no, girl, I asked you what you want. And so many women have a hard time just, saying, I want X. And then they get all wishy-washy. So we first start off with a solid goal, right? And we're not going to set too many goals, because we're going to want to do that. We're not adjusting our goals once we set them. You can then add to them once you've accomplished them, is how I take that. But yeah, so set a solid game, like a solid vision, right? For what you want, right? If you want 50 pounds, great, go after that. If you want strength and you want muscles and you want definition, that's what we're going after. But get really specific with what you want and what you want to achieve. The second thing that I notice women don't do, and what they need, is a freaking plan, like a game plan, right? Like football players don't just go out on the field without a game plan. So we take what they want and then I like reverse engineer it. I'm like, okay, so this is what we want. These are the things that you're going to do every month, every week, every day. And then we're going to set up your calendar so that it sets you up for success, like every hour, right? Like, yeah, the reason why you're not getting to the gym, because hey, at 5 o'clock, you're a mom now and you're cooking dinner and you've got homework. Like it's got to be reversed sometimes. So we set them up for success, but they don't have a game plan. They're like, okay, I'm excited. It's January 1st and I'm going to lose weight. I'm like, awesome. How are you going to do it? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. Right. So if you're doing this without a coach, set yourself up a game plan. Like I said, I was just working on 2 habits every single week until I felt confident enough to add to it. But yeah, as a coach, like I'm creating the game plan for them. So I take all the hard stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, coaching is such an important thing. I feel like even coaches need coaches. Like you almost like, especially as a mom, let's talk about a mom, like who's working, who has kids, who has everything on her plate. And then she's forced to think about like what she's got to do in order to lose a specific amount of weight, let's take that all out for them and have them just follow. And obviously you're teaching them along the way. So you're not just saying follow it and go, you're teaching them along the way the entire time so they can eventually do this on their own. Right. But you're just taking out all of the craziness that we're hearing every single day with diet and exercise and confusion. Right. Yeah. And you're just setting up that path for success.
Yes.
And they just follow it. Right.
Right.
Simply said, but it's easier said than done sometimes.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned this before about cardio and weight training. I think we can both agree that cardio has many benefits, yes. But in a context of weight loss and changing your body composition, it comes after nutrition, it comes after resistance training, and also prioritizing rest, rehab, and recovery. Do you agree on that?
100%.
Okay.
Down.
Yes. How do you approach this because you probably have a lot of women coming to you. I do. And when they see their programs, they're like, there's not a lot of cardio on here. Yeah. What do you teach them in regards to what's more important and why?
I teach balance at the end of the day. It's always going to be a balance effect. So every woman is different. Okay. Mm-hmm. You are listening and you're like, yeah, but my friend does 4 days of strength and I do, okay. So quit comparing yourself and your body to everybody else. That's just going to kill your productivity for sure. But I really take their goals and I take, for most of them, I take their medication. Like I take everything into consideration, right? Past these things like that. And I create like a balanced approach. So I give them a little bit of balance and flexibility type stuff. I give them a lot of strength training because I believe that strength not only builds our muscles, which, eats fat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but being in the strength room, just training, even in your living room, strength training, the minute you're done, like working your muscles, you mentally feel unstoppable. Like you're like, oh my,
you're stronger.
God.
Yeah. Like, mentally stronger. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Emotionally stronger, like everything. Yeah. Right. I mean, I walked up to the bar. I was like, I don't think I can do that. And then my husband would be like, yes, you can push it. And then I do it. And I'm like, I'm amazing. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't even matter what happens between the reps. For me, it's like, it's how I feel. And that's what strength training does for me. That's why I do it 7 days a week, that I love it that much. But as a client, I know they're conditioned to believe they need cardio, right? And that's what magazines tell them. Yep. That's what the $50 million industry tells them, cardio. And, that's where I started. Because again, that's where I thought I needed to go. And I'm telling you, I was miserable. I don't know about anyone, but 45 minutes on a stair climber, when you have not moved ever, is like torture. 10 minutes on an elliptical is torture.
Even now, I hate it.
Like, that's tough. You're like, that's more mental toughness than anything.
Yeah.
But we do need cardio. There's so many benefits to that, getting that oxygen moving. But I'm like a little bit of cardio, sure. A little bit of strength, yes. But right now I'm creating the habit of you getting up every single day, making your body movement a priority. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. Show up when you say you're going to do it, whether you're stretching or doing yoga or whatever your body is telling you to do, just show up. Like consistency. That's again, what, that's the plan that, okay, well now what I just did 50 burpees. Okay. Well, tomorrow you're not gonna be able to walk because you've never done it. So like now what, we're back to square one. So I start them small and then I build them. 10 weeks later, like they are like, girl, I want more strength and I want more of this. I'm like, yes. So I help women like, your podcast find their strong, and I freaking love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also when you are weight training properly, your heart rate is going up. I usually always have some sort of metabolic or HIIT or Tabata at the end of the workout anyways. So you are getting that cardio. And then usually like a recommended walk outside every day.
Yeah.
But I feel like, just as you were saying, society just trains you to believe that cardio is the answer, So when somebody goes to approach weight loss, it's also sort of, you don't really have to think about it, right? You can just go on to a cardio machine and go, even though it's really boring. But if you don't know anything about body composition and how to lose weight properly, and that's all you're doing, it's not really going to work in the end, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did. Yes. I'm not going to say it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I was miserable. And I think that if I had to keep up on that pace 4 to 5 days a week of cardio, I would have burnt out of cardio.
Yes. Yeah.
And I would have stopped. Right. So it was important for me. Yes, I hopped it on because I had no idea what to do in a gym, right? I didn't have a plan. I had $800 to, feed my family in Germany. Yeah. I was like, a trainer is not even an option. So yes, I got on, but I melted fat for sure, but it was a slower pace and I was getting skinny fat, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think it's also, I think it's important though. I love how you point that out, because you, on a petite person, you said you're 5 feet, right? And you had a lot of weight, right? So somebody that has a lot of body fat, I think cardio is actually a really good starting point, just to get moving and to get some progress and to see some progress, right? And then and also to work on your heart, and then
I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day too. So like 10 minutes was killer. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I did it. And I was proud because I showed up for myself every single day. And the cardio then went to, okay, there's got to be a funner way to get cardio in. And then I found like group classes and boot camps, which I'm like, I'm not alone in this world. And like, it's evolved since then. Trust me. I didn't just hop off a cardio machine and say, you know what, I'm just going to get strong and fit in the weight room. I didn't have the confidence for that. Are you kidding me? I barely wanted to show up with the hoodie over my head. I covered head to go on the elliptical machine. Are you crazy? Like, I did not start with strength, but now looking back, I probably would have sped up all my results faster had I, got a little comfortable and lifted a little bit of weights. Yeah.
So how did you get into the weightlifting then? Like, what was that? How was that transition?
So I went a lot from like cardio to group, and then in the group, they were using bands. So resistance bands. Okay. And I'm never, ever going to knock them because they will kick your booty if you're not used to it. Again, anytime you're using those muscles, you're going to feel a difference. So I started using bands quite a bit. And at this time in my journey, I was volunteering at like a local club because I was going to their classes anyways. Women were starting to see like my body change drastically. I was also working on my nutrition and my stress levels, because I knew those had like equal correlation. And so I started meeting these women on the side, and we were just talking about, I'm like, have you ever like tried strength training? And long story short, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop coming to the classes now at like 6 days a week. And I'm going to just do these 3 days a week. And then I'm going to start to take everything that I learned from bands, and I'm just going to do weights instead. And so then over, probably a 2-year span, I was like, I love weights because I was starting to feel that effect. And I wanted to take my own journey to the next level. So that's when I went out and got certified. Like I wasn't even a coach at this time. I wasn't even getting paid as a coach. I was like, I just want to know how I can change my body by using more strength. And so I went out and got certified as a personal trainer. And then of course I love HIIT classes. So I was like, just in case I want to teach a HIIT class here and there, I'll go get HIIT certified, group certified.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's where it started. But it was just my own curiosity of like, okay, if bands can do this, and maybe when you first start to see it, like a definition on anything, you're like, the bands are golden. And then I got comfortable with the bands. And then I was like, okay, how can I, boss up and go to the next level? And then I was like, okay, I'm going to dive into this crazy arena called weights and dumbbells and barbells. So like, who knows, but we're going to figure it out.
That's awesome. I love that you're a HIIT coach. Can you give us some like benefits of HIIT versus steady state cardio?
Yeah. Well, and I will tell you, like, I don't even coach like groups. Like rarely do I do any groups, but I just love it how it makes me feel, right? Less time. So biggest benefit for me, I don't have 45 minutes or 30 minutes. Like I can get the same impact in a 20-minute HIIT class. Like, okay, sign me up. I'm a busy mom and a wife. So that to me is the biggest benefit of HIIT. It's very high, intensity interval training. So our heart rate goes really high for 30, 45 seconds, whatever your teacher is giving you, but then you stop completely and rest. And it goes by really fast, like a 10, 15, 20-minute HIIT. You're like, oh my gosh, it's really, really fast. But yeah, you're like, high, give it all you got, and then rest. And so something even mentally helps me like get through a workout where I'm like, oh, but I never have to do this again. And like, I get to rest for 15 or 30 seconds. So that to me is a benefit, but that's keeping my heart. Like it's not constant high, I don't even know how to say it, but like,
and if you're doing it properly,
going up and down, and then I'm burning more calories a lot longer because my body has to like get back to normal again.
You're burning a lot more calories in that day than you would normally without performing HIIT. And if you're doing HIIT properly, you only need to do it a couple times a week.
Yeah,
because it's too much on the body, right? But yeah, that's why I love HIIT too, just because of the time and being a mom, and you just do 12 minutes and you're good. I wanted to sort of switch gears a little bit because you are a coach and you are, you're a speaker, you're a coach. How did you transition into, becoming a trainer to owning your own business? Was there any limiting beliefs in becoming an entrepreneur?
So before my corporate job, right, I was an entrepreneur. So I kind of went into the same realm as what my parents did growing up. So I came back from Germany thinking that I was going to go back to work for mom, didn't need to do anything. I mean, I've always worked for my mom, small business, a little girl in the back in their shop. Like I've just known nothing else besides working for yourself. And when I moved back, the week that I got back from Germany, I ended up burying her. She'd passed away. So I was like, thank you. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do now? Like, who am I? This was the plan, like stick to the plan, Karissa, you're going to come back and work for mom again. And life is going to be great. And life wasn't. And I was like, this sucks. Like, what am I supposed to do? This is all I know how to do. So that was a limiting belief, first off, that like, this was all I knew how to do. But that really wasn't true. So I remember I was going through her books and I found an old business ledger. This is like before QuickBooks. Like, y'all, this is old stuff. Like my mom was seriously old school too. So green paper, everything written down, finance wise. And I was like, okay, mom, I hear you. This is my sign. I'm supposed to still open up a shop. So I opened up in my tuxedo and suit shop. Okay. I took everything that I loved about the wedding industry and I was like, okay, screw the brides. Cause I didn't like them at the time. They were too picky. I was like, no, guys are easy. And so I just went into the tuxedos, suits, and flowers because that's what I really love to do. But that led me to my corporate job. And again, that same limiting belief of I don't know everything about this because this gal walks into my shop. She's telling me all these amazing things that she's going to be looking for and like this future person that she needs to hire. And I'm like, girl, I don't know anyone like that. And she's like, Karissa, I'm here for you. I'm like, you're in I own this shop. Like, I'm not going to leave. I just now started making a profit. I have employees. Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, just think about it. But then I was like, okay, but I don't have any marketing background. I don't know anything about collision. I don't know anything about anything. I just know about tux. She's like, you have like savviness, you have grit, you have like anyone who could start a business with like nothing. She's like, that's what we want in this position. I'm like, okay, well, let me think about it. my husband was deployed, like I said, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of excited about this opportunity. And I thought long-term, right? What would this corporate job allow me to learn so that eventually I could go back and work for myself? And so I jumped ship in 2013. I sold my tuxedo shop. I kind of did some research, sold it for profit, turned it, went to work for a body shop as their marketing director at the time. And so like anything, that's like obviously how I even got to coaching, as I found, that I love helping people, and I loved, with my side hustle at the time and all this great stuff, but it led me to what I'm, doing today. And I guess the limiting beliefs used to be, I'm not enough. I don't know enough. I'm not trained enough, right? Where now as a coach, I'm so self-aware because I've hired coaches to help me reach certain levels of success. I've not gotten on this journey definitely by myself. Like I've had mentors, and I've invested in myself and my business. And I've learned to catch these limiting beliefs before they even get the best version of me, right? These excuses, these stories that are not mine. So now I get my pen and paper. I'm like, why do I think I can't do this? And I just start writing, and I unfold it, and it's like an onion, and I peel back all the layers. I'm like, nope, I actually can do this. Like all those fears that I thought was there, they don't exist anymore when you break it down. So yeah, to just kind of go back to that is, I'm a big believer in investing in myself. And that's, that's how I've grown such a successful global coaching company.
That's amazing. And it's also like sometimes when you're just so in your head and you think about, because we're all thinking about ourselves, we're a little bit, talking to ourselves, like we can't do certain things. But if you just think past that on not necessarily, what you can't do, but if you can actually help somebody, like that's what I say in my house. Can I actually help somebody? And if the answer is yes, it's like, you just got to take yourself out of that equation and focus on that one person that you could help and change their life.
Yeah. It ain't about you. It ain't about me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What is the one piece of advice that you can give somebody who might be wanting to start something, maybe wanting to become a coach, but they are in their heads and they don't know how to start?
Yeah. Well, the advice I would go to is in 2019, when I left corporate, I didn't have a plan, right? I was like, I'm kind of coaching now women because I went out and got all my holistic health coaching certifications because I thought I needed all that to like be good and do enough and be enough. Turns out I didn't need it. Did it help me? Absolutely. I met a lot of amazing people too. So I would never take all that money that I've spent back on certifications back by any means. But yeah, in 2019, right, filed for divorce, left my corporate cushy job, and I got diagnosed with, Hashimoto's. So I look back to answer that question as like, I've never not been able to swim to the top. So why would I ever hold myself back now? So if you are in this place where you're like, I really want to do something else, or maybe it is become a coach, or, anything, like give yourself permission to just jump. Like, trust me, you will be okay. Like, I have faith, and I look back at everything that I've ever gone through, right? All my childhood trauma, the abuse, every nick and cranny that I've went through. And I'm like, this actually it's an easy decision compared to things that I've had to do before. Yeah. So I've created like mental toughness, right? This grit and this resiliency that even if I fail, Karissa, at this business, or even 5 years from now, I may not want to be a coach, but I would say, okay, I trust that God has put me on a different path now, and I can't beat myself up about it. So I guess my best advice would be to follow your heart. Which means don't be listening to the opinions of other people. Like do what you want to do what, your heart says, and then just jump and do it and try it. And either way, you're going to learn some fantastic lessons along the way.
Great advice. Great advice. I always ask this at the end. What does the word strong mean to you, Karissa?
Yeah. Means just resilience. I think strong, and I literally think like I can get through anything, whether it's physical strength or mental strength. Strong is a really powerful word.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think strong, I think resilience. And then when I think resilience, I'm like, that's actually my superpower. So I'm really strong, even without all my muscles. I'm really strong. I can get through anything with the mindset of I am strong.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Karissa, for coming on today. It was such a great chat from coach to coach. And I love hearing how people turn their struggles into strengths and how they're using their struggle as their strength to even help more people. Where can people connect with you, find you? I'll also include some of your links in the show notes, but let them know here. And
yeah. Well, they can find all about me, whether it's speaking stuff, podcast stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you can always go to 365dailyhustle.com. So that's my normal website, right? I'm also founders of lots of different programs, Reclaim Your Best Life, Boss Up and Get Fit. So I'll send you all of those links, but I'm excited. I have a brand new membership, and it's a Facebook membership, and it's for women who are busy mamas, busy entrepreneurs that just want to get healthy mentally, physically, nutritionally, spiritually. So I'm really proud of that baby, because not everyone can come in and work with coaching and like VIP programs. That's never where I would have started either. I can invest that kind of money into this, but I wanted to be able to provide a platform that all women can find a sense of community and find a sense of strength and find themselves in it. So I'm really, really proud of the Boss Up and Get Fit membership that I've built.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. We'll include those links at the bottom of the podcast, but I really appreciate you taking the time and chatting with me today. And I look forward to continuing to follow your journey.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer.